Today, we honor innocent lives lost during the Tamil Genocide and pay tribute to the resilience and strength of the Tamil people. Ontario is proud to be home to a vibrant Tamil community whose contributions make our province stronger. Ontario will always stand shoulder to shoulder with our Tamil community, and we will continue to denounce hatred in all its forms. The atrocities of the past must never be forgotten. They serve as a stark reminder of the need to build a world free from violence and injustice. Let us keep working together to celebrate a better future for all Ontarians.
Statements by members. The Honourable Member for Scarborough Rouge Park.
Madam Speaker, on May 18th, Tamils in Canada and around the world will mark the 12th anniversary of the Mullivaikkal Genocide. They will mourn, they will grieve, they will commemorate, and they will resolve to never again be witness to such genocide and atrocity in our world. Sadly, this right to commemorate itself is under attack, Madam Speaker. The Sri Lankan state continues to desecrate memorials and threaten those who commemorate. Despite these restrictions, Tamils on the island and around the world will join hands on May 18th in person or virtually to pay tribute to our fallen brothers and sisters and recommit to ensuring that Tamils can live on the island with freedom, equality, and self-determination. We will continue to be resilient and never be silenced. The monuments to those who are lost is etched in our collective memory and in our hearts. The march towards justice is long and painful, Madam Speaker, but we will continue until justice is served. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to seek unanimous consent to rise for a moment of silence to honor and remember the lives lost in the Tamil Genocide as we mark the Tamil Genocide Remembrance Day today.
Member for Scarborough Rouge Park is seeking the unanimous consent of the House for a moment's silence in recognition of the Tamil Genocide. Agreed? Agreed. Agreed. Members will please rise. Thank you. Members will please take their seats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand here with a heavy heart and heart-wrenching memories of Tamil who perished during the last stage of the brutal war in Mullivaikkal in May 2009. This is a very emotional moment for the Tamils, including myself, having been brought up in Vanney region during my early childhood. Today marks the 12th year of Tamil Genocide Remembrance Day. Bishop Joseph Rajapu, a passionate human rights advocate and respected religious leader, who recently passed away, witnessed Sri Lankan armed forces suppress over 147,000 people, including women and children. Mr. Speaker, the war ended 12 years ago. Injustice done to them still remains unpunished today. Sadly, until now, the United Nations hasn't set up the mechanism for independent international investigation. There is no roadmap to end the ongoing oppression on Elam Tamil. We urge the Canadian government to involve with the United Nations to end this. Through Bill 104, we are seeing the new hope and our voice have been heard. Thank you to the Member of Ontario Parliament for passing this bill. Mr. Speaker, we pay them my deepest respect for those who have lost their life. I understand and share the pain of those who have lost their loved ones. Our prayers go out to them and their memories live with us. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Vanakkam. I want to add my voice in remembrance of the 12th anniversary of the Mullivaikkal
Thank you, Speaker, and Vanakkam. I rise today in support of this important bill to recognize Tamil Genocide Education Week here in Ontario, and I would like to thank the member from Scarborough Rouge Park for bringing it forward. May will mark 12 years since the Mullivaikkal massacre, when thousands of Tamils were murdered by the Sri Lankan government at the end of decades-long war in Sri Lanka. Every year since then, we recognize May 18th as Tamil Genocide Remembrance Day to remember and honour all those who were lost during the Tamil Genocide. From the Black July in 1983, where thousands of Tamils were murdered, to the Mullivaikkal massacre in 2009, the Tamil people were forced to endure a state-sponsored campaign of genocide. During this period, tens of thousands of Tamil men, women and children were abducted by the Sri Lankan government and were never heard from again. In many cases, when worried families went in search of their loved ones, they too were also murdered. Many were dumped into mass graves containing hundreds of bodies that had been found throughout Sri Lanka. It was reported that one village alone had 300 to 400 bodies buried in mass graves. Many had been forced to endure horrific campaigns of sexual violence. The trauma caused by the Tamil genocide is intergenerational. Tamil youth growing up today continue to face the pain endured by their parents and grandparents. We must name and recognize the Tamil genocide, and we must continue to remember all those who have been lost. We must provide a platform for the Tamil people to tell the stories and share the memories of all of those lives that were lost, and to educate others so that this genocide shall never be forgotten and shall never be repeated. It is important that Tamil Genocide Education Week be recognized by all Ontarians and all Canadians. Even those of us who are not Tamil need to recognize and offer solidarity so that we can better understand the injustices the Tamil people have gone through and continue to experience. This bill is an important step so that the Tamil community can move towards reconciliation and healing. I stand with the Tamil community in their quest for justice and in recognition of the Tamil genocide, and I am proud to support this legislation.
Vanakkam. Hello, Mayor John Tory here, and today I join people from all over the world to commemorate Tamil Genocide Remembrance Day. Today we pay tribute to those lives that were lost and people who went missing and everyone that was impacted, and there were many, by the war in Sri Lanka. Many of those who were impacted by the war came to Toronto to rebuild their lives, and they have become pillars in our community in every single area of life. Members of our Tamil community have played a vital role in building up our city and making Toronto the place they chose to call home, making it a better place for everyone. It's important that even though we're facing our own challenges here in Toronto and in Canada with the ongoing pandemic, that we continue to pay our respects and honor all of those lives that were lost in this terrible tragedy. Although today holds a significance to people around the world, every day we must remember that we have a role to play, every single one of us, in making sure that we must never allow for such dark chapters of our history and our humanity to repeat themselves, and that we can all play a role in condemning hatred and discrimination towards one another. I joined the Tamil community this year in paying my respects and honoring Tamil Genocide Remembrance Day, which has now been officially recognized by the Ontario Legislature. Thank you to everyone who is taking time out of their day to do the same.
On behalf of the City of Brampton, I would like to acknowledge May 18th as Tamil Genocide Remembrance Day. We proclaim that in the City of Brampton. The Tamils in Sri Lanka were subject to severe persecution, human rights violation, ethnic cleansing, and genocide based on their ethnicity. This is the 12th year that we remember on May 18th the Tamil Genocide, one of the most horrific genocides of our modern times. Innocent civilians perished because of the targeted genocide by the Sri Lankan military forces. 12 years later, we still don't have accountability or justice. I remember vividly 12 years ago when I saw the protest. I actually joined the protest on Parliament Hill to learn about what was happening and joined this call to bring attention to the mass killing. I remember in 2009 when so many families told me their stories of loved ones in internationally displaced persons camps. Loved ones of Canadians that were being targeted in Sri Lanka. Just like I did 12 years ago, I stand with you today and will continue to do everything I can to push for justice, to push for accountability, because there can be no reconciliation without accountability. Over 40,000 Tamil civilians lost their lives during the last stages of the war in May of 2009, and over 100,000 lives were lost in the 3 decades of the struggle for human rights in Sri Lanka since 1983. The 300,000 Tamils who have made Canada their home have worked hard to rebuild their lives in their newfound home. They've greatly enriched our country through their leadership in business, academia, government, science, and the arts, and have inspired countless young Canadians to become successful, to contribute to our beautiful country. When the Sri Lankan government destroyed the peace memorials at Jaffna University, we passed a motion to rebuild the memorial and to have our own monument in Brampton remembering the loss of life at Mullivaikkal. To commemorate those Tamils who lost their lives, I also want to acknowledge that the Ontario Parliament passed Bill 104 for the Tamil Genocide Education Week, an important step to remembering the loss. It's not possible to have reconciliation unless there is accountability for the lives that were lost during this genocide and for the war crimes that were committed. On behalf of the city of Brampton, we remember and we stand with you.